What's up, everybody? Matt X here. Welcome back to the Poke Historian, the show where sometimes I just get on this camera and talk about whatever I want with the Pokemon market. And today, I really just want to discuss singles with you, particularly just like how out of control like the prices for single Pokemon cards have gotten. Like, I was looking on TCG Player earlier, and I was looking at all the top Scarlet and Violet cards, and like just it's amazing like how many cards, like, you got cards that are like $600, $400, stuff like that. Like, okay, I mean, that's pretty alarming. But to me, what's even more alarming is just how many cards are like $50, $40. Like, I just, when I stop and think about it, because we have so many illustration rares and special illustration rares from the Scarlet and Violet era, I really do wonder, like, how is the market supporting so many cards being so expensive? And this goes beyond just the Scarlet and Violet generation too. I mean, I look at Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon, it's like there are so many cards, and I'm just going to use the $50 mark here, but there are so many cards that are just like over $50 in value. And I don't know how the market is supporting this. Like, I mean, I know there's a lot of Pokemon fans out there, right? Great, go ahead and collect the cards you want, but like, how are there so many people that are able to buy so many expensive cards? I've been really kind of thinking about this morning, like, excuse me, like what's going to happen like long term here? Like when this cools off, like when this really cools off and like we get a couple sets that maybe aren't that great, assuming that actually happens. I do think we're going to cool off though, maybe next year or something. But what's going to happen to all these cards? I mean, we're in a position now where like people are so desperate to like find like a play, to find like a card that hasn't been like found yet and been pumped by people, that like they're going in and buying like the most obscure like rando cards that nobody cared at all about even just a year ago. Like I've talked about this before in one of my previous videos, but it's amazing like how many cards I've sold where I just, I thought they were okay. Like I just randomly got them as a promo, like when I bought like, a little 4 set of booster packs, or pulled some rando card from a pack that I was just okay with. It's amazing how many of those cards are like 30, 40, $50. Like that's insane. Like there's so much desperation to like find a deal and to find a card like before it gets pumped. Like we had some of this during COVID for sure, but like this is just insane. Like I just don't know how this is gonna play out long term. But for the short term, I think I have a pretty good idea what's going on, and probably a lot of you do too. I've talked about this before, but I call it like the online roulette wheel that just spins around and certain cards get pumped, and then people rush in and like buy them, and then it causes the price to go up more. And of course, I've told you all, in my opinion, that's the time to go ahead and sell. Like if your card's getting pumped and you don't care about it, go ahead and get rid of it, because this is a very kind of strange time and you don't normally get opportunities to do this. But it's like the wheel just keeps turning, right? And it keeps like landing on certain cards. And then it's like as soon as that, like let's use the Umbreon from Prismatic, right? The big special illustration rare. That card was of course very expensive. I think it was like $1,600 or something like that. Crashed all the way to 900. And it's like I don't know, it's almost like there was like a group that moved in and they saw this card. It's like, oh, we can't let this card get this low. Like we can't let it go this low. We got to pump it now. There's no way this can stay low. And then like it's almost like overnight, like a group like just moves in and just pumps the card back up, because like they are so desperate to like keep these cards from like declining in value. And you see it with all kinds of cards. It's like as soon as something just starts going down a little bit, like all of a sudden there'll be like a massive increase in sales that you can look at on TCG Player, and the card just like rockets back up. And it really kind of makes me think that a lot of this is like it's being kept up artificially to like a good extent. Like I know there's real buyers out there and there's people that really do want these cards, but I do think there's a lot of artificial inflation going in here. Like there has to be, because like why is it every single time like a card has its moment to cool off, and then all of a sudden like it just like rockets back up? It's like cards should be able to cool off, y'all. It's okay if a card comes down and stabilizes. But it's like this market will be like, absolutely not. This card is not cooling off. Nothing cools off. Nothing is allowed to decline in value. Everything has to stay 30, 40, 50, 60, $70. Like, we cannot let this happen. And oh, by the way, like the special chase cards, those ones are even worse because those cannot stabilize at high prices. We have to keep trying to pump those higher and higher. And it's just, with those cards too, like, I guess like the Garchomp from Destined Rivals is a good example. You know, it came out, it did pretty well. It was like around $200, tanked a little bit down to like 190, and now it's rising again. It's like the market isn't satisfied with having a $200 card. It's like, no, this has to be 250, and it's like the market is always looking for the next move up, and it's like it's never like just satisfied with having a card that like finds a nice, happy, healthy price and chills. People are always trying to like pump it to that next level. And like I said, I don't know how that plays out. Like, how can every single card keep pumping? You know, how are there this many people that can get these cards and like continue to buy them at these prices? So with that, I do think a lot of this is being done artificially. And when that artificial pumping, in theory, dies off at some point, like, what on earth is going to happen to a lot of these singles? You know, like, I can only imagine. I mean, we did get to see some corrections like earlier this year, like the beginning of the summer. You know, we saw what looked like was going to be maybe the end of like the singles boom, right? Because everything kind of came back down, everything calmed down. And then things rocketed back up, and now most cards are higher than they ever have been before. So what's going to happen the next time we see like the correction? I think it may be even a lot worse than the one we saw at the beginning of the summer. Because I don't know, it's just wild. Everything has gotten so freaking expensive. I don't think it's healthy for a market to have cards this expensive. And I think that the reason this has happened is because there are people in groups that are going in there and that are just trying to make plays on these cards. They're trying to keep them artificially inflated. And on top of that, they're also moving into cars that haven't pumped yet and trying to like find anything they can to continue to go up in value and push those cards up and try and make some money off those too. And like I said, I'm not saying there aren't people that are actually into these cards and buying them, because there are, and they tend to follow the groups. Like, these groups, I think, come in and pump these cards, and then people see it getting pumped, they FOMO, and then they follow the trend. Trend is not your friend, y'all. But anyways, that's all I want to say about this topic. I've been having some thoughts. Like, we're at a point where I just, like, I get that certain cards are very expensive. I just don't understand how so many cards can be expensive. And I'll tell you right now, if you want to take advantage of this, I'll keep saying it, go ahead and do it. This is not a bad time to sell your cards that you don't care about. You don't need to hold everything. And, you know, if you bought a card for $5 and it's $50, you know, kind of looking at that Gengar Trainer Gallery card, you know, there's nothing wrong with selling them if you made your money and you don't really care about the card too much. If you like the card, keep holding it. But otherwise, like, there's nothing wrong with cashing out and putting some money into something else and just kind of moving on, because this isn't normal. Could it last forever? Maybe. I mean, I guess anything's possible, but like, I just think, we'll see what happens, but I just think that when this whole thing cools off, at least for the singles, it could be a disaster. That's my current thought. But hey, these are just my opinions. This is just an entertainment channel. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.